Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to talk about some middle grade books that I'm very excited about. This isn't a TBR or a most anticipated list, it's just that I realized I had a lot of middle grade books on my physical TBR that I've been in the mood to read lately. The first book I'm going to talk about is Rusha and the End of Time by Rishani Chachki. Yes, this is from Rick Riordan Presents, and yes, I have owned this for about a year now and really need to read it. It follows a young girl named Arusha, and she is notorious for telling little fibs, right? Like everyone knows her as like the girl who lies all the time. Her mother works for this museum that focuses on Indian artifacts. So one day, three of Aru's classmates show up to the museum where her mother works to try and catch her in a lie, and she decides that in order to prove herself, she's gonna light this cursed lamp. But whenever she lights the lamp, she accidentally unleashes the Sleeper, who is a demon that is focused on bringing back the god of destruction. Her classmates and her mother are frozen in time, and then she has to journey around the world, finding the reincarnations of the Pandava brothers in order to defeat this demon. I'm very excited about this. I love the Rick Riordan Presents books. I'm working my way through them all. Arusha is the next one I'm going to be reading. And I've heard that this is like one of the booktube favorites of the Rick Riordan Presents books, and I'm very excited. And I know that I think this is going to be a 5-book series. It might already all be out. I'm very behind on the Rick Riordan Presents books. Then we have They Threw Us Away by Daniel Kraus. This is a middle grade novel that is borderline horror. It's about a group of teddy bears who wake up in a dump and realize that they have been thrown away, and they are fighting through the dump and all of the horrors that exist in there to get back to the children that they loved. It sounds like it's gonna make me bawl my fucking eyes out and give me nightmares, and that's kind of everything I want in a good middle grade. Like, I want you to make me feel emotions, and I want you to kind of freak me out a little bit, because children's horror and middle grade horror is something I really gravitate towards, or just like darker middle grade. Rowena Kai illustrated the cover and the illustrations inside. I have The Way to Rio Luna by Zoraida Cordova. So this follows a young boy named Danny who believes in magic. He believes that he's going to find Narnia in the back of all the wardrobes. He believes in spells and Wonderland and all of that. And he's convinced that his missing sister is waiting for him in Rio Luna, which is the enchanted land of their childhood storybook. He hasn't seen his sister in many years after they were placed in different foster homes, and she always promised that she would find her way back to him, but he's convinced that, he will find her in Rio Luna. People have said that his sister's a runaway, and he hasn't seen her personally since they were placed in different foster homes, but she promised that she would find her way back to him. So one day, he's in his library, and he finds this book with all of these hints on how to get to Rio Luna, and he travels across the world from New York to Ecuador to Brazil, are the 3 places listed in the synopsis, to try and find Rio Luna and reunite with his sister. It's gonna make me cry, and also it's like a magical cross the world road trip novel, and that's so exciting. I'm very excited for this one. Next, we have one that's very popular on BookTube right now, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This one is about a young girl who wants to become a magician. A magician. I can't say that word. A magician. She wants to be a magician. And kind of in the same vein as The Road to Rio Luna, Amari has never really believed that her missing brother is actually gone. So she finds this ticking briefcase in her closet that contains an invitation to go to the magic school and learn to be a magician. She realizes she doesn't really know how to use magic, and yet she's having to compete for a prestigious placement against all of these other kids who her magical ability has been deemed illegal, and there's an evil magician trying to take over the world, and none of her classmates will believe her. But she knows that unless she can solve this and really crack down on everything, she's not going to be able to find out what happened to her brother. I love this shiny metallic-y cover, and I've heard such wonderful things. I watched my friend Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin do an interview with the author, so I'm very, very excited to get into this one. So whenever they get there, they realize that the people are starting to starve, there's not a whole lot of food, and there's only one person hunting for food to provide for the community. So the 2 kids, along with the hunter and a sassy squirrel sidekick that they catch trying to steal from them, have to embark on this journey to figure out what's going on, find food, save the community. I can never decide whether I want to pitch this book as a portal fantasy or a portal science fiction. SFF is just kind of a vague term to slap on it, so I'm excited to read it and see which one it falls into more for me. I'm also expecting some interesting commentary about native food sovereignty. I'm hoping that this will kind of take that topic that not a lot of people understand and make it into a little bit more accessible. Not that it has to provide a teaching moment for non-Indigenous people, but I'm expecting commentary judging by what's in the little synopsis on the dust jacket. We have the Skeleton Man books by Joseph Bruchac. This is a bind-up of the duology, and I read the first Skeleton Man book whenever I was pretty young. So I remember picking up Skeleton Man from like a thrift store for like 5 cents, and I read it and it fucking terrified me. The art in the original book scared me so bad. It's about a young girl named Molly whose parents have gone missing, and there's like a mysterious disappearance. No one really knows what happened to her parents. And then one day this man comes knocking on her door claiming that he's her great uncle. Like, is he just a creepy great uncle who's locking her in her room at night so that she can't leave, and just kind of looks like the Skeleton Man, who's this monster from this legend that her father used to tell her? Or is he actually the monster? And judging by the fact that it's a duology, you probably know the answer to that question. So very excited to finally read the second one. I want to reread the first one, obviously. So I'm going to reread the first one, then read the second one and see what happened. Because I didn't even realize, A, that this was the duology, and B, whenever I read it, that Joseph Bruchac is a native author. And even as a kid, native horror was scaring the shit out of me. We have The Brave by James Bird, which I've talked about a little bit on my channel, but still haven't read yet. I planned on reading it for Indigathon last year, and Michelle and I were so swamped with making daily Indigathon content on the Instagram that I don't think either one of us read nearly as much as we wanted to. So this follows a young boy named Colin who has a condition, he's neurodiverse, where he has to count every letter of every word that is spoken to him, and it causes him to be like the primary target for bullies. Once Colin is bullied out of another school, his dad decides it's time for him to meet his mother, who is an Ojibwe woman who lives on a reservation, and Colin has never met her before. While he's there, he meets a young girl who kind of has a similar condition and believes that she's turning into a butterfly, so they become friends and team up to like help Colin not move past his neurodiversity, but to adapt to it and really come into his own. It's a coming of age middle grade with like found family and friendship and second chances. And I want to talk about Eva Evergreen, Semimagical Witch by Julie Abe. I originally heard about this book from my friend Audrey's channel. I will leave the video where they discuss that mentioned upstairs, so go check that out. And this is about a witch named Eva who wants to earn the rank of novice witch before her 10th birthday. And if she doesn't, then she will lose that magic forever. So whenever she goes to try and earn her rank of novice witch, she sets up shop in this town where she is doing small magical repairs in the hopes that it will be enough to make the people like really get behind her and let her get that rank. There's also a big magical storm brewing, and Eva doesn't know if that's going to be enough for her to save the town. So very excited for this one. Have heard beautiful things about it. Have heard it's a beautiful story. Finally, we have the most recent addition to my middle grade TBR collection, and probably the one that I'm most interested in reading at the moment, and that is Hide and Seeker. Hide and Seeker by Dr. Herman is a middle grade horror, as you can probably tell by this gorgeous fucking cover. It follows a boy named Justin who realizes that something is wrong with his friend Z, who has come back after being missing for a year. And he's like acting strange, and he's speaking in these creepy rhymes. At Z's welcome home party, they decide that they're all going to play hide and seek, and one by one all of the players start to disappear and get sucked into this world where their nightmares come to life. So they realize once they get into this nightmare dimension that this is where Z has been trapped for a year, and there's this monster called the Seeker who's trying to find them out. I've heard this described as like in the same vein of Nightmare on Elm Street, so like Freddy Krueger and then Tony Todd's Candyman, so I'm very excited to read it. I have this planned for I'm very hopeful that authors of different marginalizations will continue to get to publish their stories because they're very much needed stories. It's important that children should be able to see themselves in fiction at a young age, and that adults can find themselves in fiction later and reconnect with their inner child. That's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can let me know by leaving a like and subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you can see more content like this every single time that I upload a video, which is usually every Thursday. If you've read any of the books that I've mentioned today, or you want to, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, as well as answering the comment question of the day. I want to know a middle grade book that you are excited to read. That's the vibe for today's video. We're gushing about middle grade today. If you don't have time, you don't have the spoons, you don't have an answer, you just don't want to answer, or you just don't read middle grade, let me know you made it all the way until the end of the video by leaving me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart. or a smiley face if you don't have access to emojis. All of my social media links and everything that you need to find me around the internet will be on the link tree at the top of my description. Everything I mentioned today will be linked in the cards or downstairs, so make sure you go check those out. And if you click on that link tree at the top of my description, you can follow me around the internet on my Instagram, my Goodreads, my Facebook page, and my Twitter. And there are also places to support me further if you so choose outside of YouTube. Everything goes back to supporting the channel. That's my PayPal, my coffee, or my Amazon wishlist if you'd like to buy me a book. So, alright, I hope you have a wonderful, whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, cool. Bye. I look really nice in yellow. This is cute. I feel cute today.